Well, hey there, my fellow diecast lovers. What is going on? All right, you know what? Today, man, we're just going to have some fun with some cheap cut rate diecast cars and their little accessories that go with them. Okay. And also, this video might be a bit revealing because I think you're going to see just how what I've got going on here is more than just a hobby. It's also almost like a sickness. I suffer from MDD, mad diecast disease. Okay, because I've got multiple versions of the same car up here in a couple different ways. And yeah, this is what happens when you like a certain particular model of diecast car a lot. You just want to get every version of it you possibly can. And there's some new additions up here I'm going to show you. Obviously, we're going to focus on them the most, but I also bring the other ones up here as a way to review and also just to show you just how many versions I've got and the depths of my depravity. All right, so let's dive into it, okay? We're going to do an unboxing, as you can see, by the car there in the blister pack, which, by the way, is a really cool one. And there's a Corgi up here you haven't seen yet. It's not really... I don't consider Corgi a cheap cut rate diecast car at all. It's actually quite nice. It's just that I already did my Corgi video, and I got this particular car long after I did that video, so it's kind of unfamiliar to you. So we'll guess we'll start with that one, okay? So you probably recognize the car itself. It's a 1974 Buick Regal. You saw the Kojak version in the original Corgi video from a while back. This is the same car, but in a taxi. And Corgi does a really nice job of doing this car. By the way, you should know that this was not in a blister pack. This car came to me loose in this spectacular condition. I mean, look at this. There's not a single solitary rub mark on the chrome. The stickers, after 40, almost 50 years, are still intact on the side. It says taxi. And this is a neat thing that Corgi did. They did this on their Mercedes taxi too. That is a little printed piece of cardboard that makes the taxi symbol inside the little roof cap there. That's kind of cool. Now they did it. You can even see the base of it inside the car. Almost acts like a divider between the driver and passenger. But yeah, this was a nice little addition. I put this down there with the rest of my taxis I have. In my little top display, it's got all the vintage stuff. And yeah, Corgi was famous for having, you know, these chromed out interiors, and then they put these like either amber or sometimes a blue colored glass in there. Other colors too. Sometimes they cheap out and just have blacked out glass, like on the Starsky and Hutch Torino that they did. So there you go. It says Buick Regal on the bottom, made in Great Britain. Corgi Juniors, which, by the way, this is my Nana's favorite type of car to buy me. All my Corgi Juniors I had as a kid growing up, I owe to my Nana, because she's the one that got them. And we got the little, you know, painted tail lamps on there, which was a nice touch too that they did that. So yeah, this is nice condition little taxi I got from an eBay seller. Cool. All right, what do you say we do some unboxing? All right, now, you know me, I like to tell stories, and I got a story about this car too. All right, so when I was in, I guess it was around 1985, I was in 7th grade, about to go into 8th grade. It was near the tail end of the school year. So my father, he worked in construction. And this particular school I went to in Denver, I used to ride with my father to Denver to go to this school because, you know, my crazy mother insisted I have a Catholic education. And this Catholic school had like what was called an enrichment program. Okay, I'm not dumb. I know it's just a fancy word for daycare. Before and after school daycare, all right? So sometimes my father would drop me off early and I'd stay late in the little enrichment program / daycare. And then my dad come pick me up. But sometimes, if he had the chance to do it, especially if he was working someplace kind of cool, he'd actually pick me up right after school and take me to his job, and I'd hang out at his job with him till like 5:30 at night. So this one time he was working on the Villa Italia Mall in Denver, which, by the way, don't bother looking for it. It's gone, okay? Bulldozed, destroyed. It doesn't exist anymore. But back in the 80s, it was the go-to place in that part of Denver. And then that was a nice mall. And in that mall, they had a Woolworths, okay? And I loved Woolworths because why? They sold these babies, the cheapo Yatming diecast. And this was a relatively new casting I hadn't seen before, at least new to me. It came out in the 80s. It's a 1964 Chevrolet Impala SS. And they did it in this very attractive black. Now, you may remember, this is in the era, in the 80s, they started putting them in the Speeding Wheels package. Because remember, Road Champs in the 80s started building their own diecast cars. They weren't relying on Yatming anymore. So Yatming started having their cars marketed under some other brands. This Woolworth Speeding Wheels was one of them. You can see the Woolworth symbol right there. And this is another example of a Woolworth Speeding Wheels car right here. This is their old 70s Lincoln casting, Mark IV. And you notice this is in the era they started putting these tacky, awful graphics on top of here. But also the quality improved. They were putting better wheels on them. They started incorporating the front and rear bumper into the metal chassis, which made it a lot more durable versus the earlier versions, which you'll see here, prettier because they didn't have the tacky graphics on them, but they weren't as sturdy because they had these had the crummy wheels. They were not that good. They had the nice chrome-plated front and rear bumper, which was nice to look at, but kind of prone to breakage, unfortunately. Okay. By the way, this is the third one I've ever gotten. This one was not in a blister pack. This was a loose car. You'll notice, you see that drooping door? That's some typical Yatming quality right there. This door, when you would close it, it wouldn't line up. It was actually kicked upwards when you close it. So what I did was I adjusted it to where it'll stay down. But unfortunately, that means that now when you open the door, it sags like that. Like it has bad hinges, like on the real car. It's hilarious. That's just your typical, Yatming quality for you right there. So yeah, I have 3 of those Lincolns. The other 2 you've already seen. This one here is, oh geez, I'm dropping my, all over the nice new Caprices I got. Oh my God. I gotta get this out of my hand real quick, guys. Hold on. Okay, this is actually the best one I have. The paint is dark and lustrous. It's in excellent condition. There's not hardly a defect on it. It's really nice. That's actually the best older style Yatming I've got. Okay. All right. Good thing that thing's only brass, right? Okay. Let's get into unboxing this. So, Speeding Wheels. It shows you some of this casting. You've seen this a bunch of times. That Firebird right there. They used to call this Sneaky Pete, I think, was the name for that because it's a pickup truck made to look like a Peterbilt. This Corvette was ubiquitous, as was this Jeep. They were all the time offered. And then the back of the package shows you some of the models that they have. Some of these actually are pretty interesting ones, too. I don't know how well you can read that. That's very, very faded. But that was some of the other models they had. All right. This Ford Thunderbird, by the way, is pretty cool. It's a 1972 Ford Thunderbird. I've seen that in brown and a couple of other colors. It's pretty neat. The Dodge Charger is actually orange. I've seen that before. It kind of looks like a Dukes of Hazzard one, but it's not really. So yeah, that's some of the models they had. So so I bought my brother and myself this car at the Woolworths there at the Villa Italia Mall in 1985. They were only 99 cents. Look at what you got for 99 cents. You got all metal construction and even opening doors. By the way, the doors are supposed to be open. It's supposed to be posed in the package with doors open, but as you can see, they're not. I guess it got closed up over the years. This blister pack, as you can see, is very yellowed from over 40 years of being stored. It's also broken back here. And also the guy I bought it from, he had to staple it too just to keep it together. But it doesn't matter because we're going to crack it open. All right, so let's do that right now. We're going to check out this El Cheapo Yatming 1964 Chevy Impala SS, which was my brother loved this car. He loved it so much that by the time he got done with it, there wasn't a lick of paint left on it. All right, just put that up there for a minute. I'm going to start this turntable up. Here we go. All right, so let's just let it spin around for a minute. So let me tell you something. Like I said, Yatming started putting these tacky graphics on their cars on top of them. And this one actually ended up with some tasteful graphics, as did the Malibu Street Rat. It was a 1966 Chevelle Malibu, painted in yellow with these kind of nice looking stripes that went down the top of it. They were actually decent looking. So there were at least 2 cars in the Yatming lineup that got some decent graphics, as opposed to this awful tacky stuff that's on this Lincoln. That's just the worst. That's one of the worst ones they ever did. Particularly this bird-looking thing on the roof. I don't know if that's supposed to represent a phoenix rising or what, but it's just awful. And then they also, I think I showed you this in a prior video I featured this car in. It's this Continental Mark II. That's not even the right model, and it's also misspelled. So yeah, good job, Yatming. But back to the Impala. I only remember this ever coming in one color, which was the black and gold, which, we all know black and gold is a great color scheme. There is a little bit of some crud on this hood. Let me see if I can clean that up a little bit. All right. So I got my little fancy polishing cloth here. Got to be careful not to rub the paint off, right? Because that's the thing. That was the first thing to go, is the graphics. And then after that, not long after that is when the paint starts coming off these. But let's see how they did with this one. This one is actually in really nice shape. I've seen a lot of these where you see this part right here in the quarter panel. I've seen a lot of these where this is actually tilted upwards and it looks like crap. This one here is actually nice and straight. So this is a pretty good quality casting. You got some casting flash and blemishes going on right here. That's to be expected though. Black paint is not all that shiny. It's, it's kind of okay. The graphics are in pretty good shape too after 40 plus years of being trapped in a blister pack. There's a little bit of a, removal right here. And I got some little blue tinted windows there. Okay. And then these are the uprated wheels. I have seen an older version of this car that came with those kind of crummy wheels. There's the front end. They did a nice job replicating that. This is another thing I remember about these cars. The roof was always like slightly crooked too. I actually know how to straighten that. So I'll do that another time. But right now it's not too bad. This side's pretty straight in the quarter panel too. So see, this actually was a pretty halfway decent casting that they did. Okay. And then in the back, they did a pretty decent job with the little tail lamps. They're kind of hard to see with the black paint, but they are there nonetheless. Now we're going to crack open the doors. Let's see how they act. Oh, that was actually pretty smooth. All right, let's try the passenger one now. There we go. Yeah, so they did improve some of the quality of their, cheapo cars. Just not as, not to like Matchbox and Tomica levels. Got a nice little contrasting tan interior. I always pictured this in my mind's eye with a set of Krager 5-spoke mag wheels. I mean, wouldn't that just look awesome on this car with the black paint and the contrasting tan interior? That would be a nice little wheel to have on this car. Yeah, I think there's a little nick in the paint right here, which see, that's right out of the box. Already you got a paint blemish, see? Looks like it's also got some paint coming off this edge right here, this very sharp fender edge. That's also typical. Let's see how the doors close. Okay, that's actually pretty good. Yeah, that is actually pretty decent for a Yatming. That is not bad at all. So there you go. Yeah, my brother and I, we both love this car, but he especially. Gosh, there wasn't a lick of paint left on his by the time he got done. I think we ended up taking his apart and repainting it. Here's the bottom. 64 Chevy Impala SS. Made in Hong Kong. The good old Hong Kong factory there, Yatming. Depicted with just a single exhaust, which would be incorrect. These Super Sports actually came with dual exhaust. And they would have had like a 409, the top engine in the Super Sport. So yeah, pretty cool. That's not bad. All right, now, I also brought these little gas pumps up here to show you too. But before I show you them, I got to show you two other ones I got. And, okay, I love box Chevys. That's one of the things I forgot to mention in that one video. I was going over my favorite classic cars. I love box Chevys, and I have a particular soft spot for the 1979. I guess because it's been replicated in diecast versions many times over, both by Corgi and also by Play Art. So, you may remember a while back when I was showing you my other Caprices I have. I'm going to put them up here just briefly, real quick. We got the olive green, the forest green, the orange, and then of course the little taxi one right here. Okay, they also make a police version. One of my subscribers was asking about that. Did they make a police version of that? You bet they did. They also made a fire chief version and also a U.S. Army staff car version. They had a lot of versions of this Caprice. Okay, so you may remember a while back I was talking to you about how there was this elusive kind of lavender purple Caprice that I got for Christmas in 1985. I specifically asked for it because I loved the color. And I found a guy in Fort Lauderdale who was selling them for dirt cheap because he didn't know what he had. Okay, so there it is, guys. There's the elusive lavender purple Caprice that I have been searching for like 2 years now. And I finally got it, and this thing is mint. Not a blister pack car. He shipped it to me in like a little bubble wrap, but nonetheless, absolutely mint. Okay. And as a bonus, he also had a color I had never seen before in my life. This gorgeous blue. And I really like that blue, and I'll tell you why. That blue is almost identical to the color that our family's 1976 Chevelle Malibu was that we bought brand new in 1976. I was a very little kid when we got that car, and the memories I have associated with that car are just tattooed on my brain. And I'll tell you, I look at this blue Caprice and it just makes me smile because I think about that Chevelle because it looks so much like that color blue. And I didn't even know that that existed, and I was just ecstatic that not only did I get my long sought after kind of lavender purple one, but also this beautiful blue one. It's like a bonus. And I got these for just ridiculously cheap. I mean, when I say ridiculously cheap, let me put it to you this way. When these cars are mint in the package, the Roadmates package that Sears actually sold at their big toy box, they go for $20 and up, okay? When they're loose, it's anybody's guess. Well, this guy didn't know what he had. I got these things for, okay, you ready for this? Single-digit money. Okay, I won't say exactly how much, but I'm going to tell you it was single-digit money, okay? That's how good a deal it was. And as you're going to see, they're absolutely mint. I want you to take a look at the beautiful paint finish that this Lavender Caprice has. Just fantastic. I love how they made all the versions with a white interior so that it would stand out. That was really a smart idea of Play Art to do that. So it just goes to show you that even though you may be a maker of cut-rate die-cast cars, there's no reason for you to be completely cheap. This thing's got pretty crisp details. I like how the door handles are standing out. You look at the tail lamps. The backup lights are a little washed out because of the paint, but the tail lamps stand up really nice. Got the chrome plating for the front bumper and rear bumper as well. Believe it or not, there's a version of this Caprice that's brown and it has the old style kind of flower petal Play Art wheels. That thing is worth huge money because it's so rare. Got the little 4-spoke wheel in there, which I don't think was correct for a Caprice. I think they only had a 2-spoke wheel. But yeah, this brings back some memories. I was so happy to get this as a young man. I was at that age, I was like, in junior high, 1985, 86. I was at that age where I was too old to play with these cars. I was, not old enough to, not too young, or not too old, I should say, whatever, to collect them. I used to actually build a diorama using Lincoln Logs. I used to set it up in my bed every weekend just for fun. Have all these cars parked around. It's kind of cool. But yeah, this is really nice. I am just so ecstatic to see this lavender color Caprice finally after all this time. It's so pretty. All right, now let me show you this fantastic blue one. This is, like I said, the bonus one. Had no idea that they made this color. I didn't even know about the forest green one. I thought that was spectacular, but then this blue is like a whole nother level. Because you know me, I'm a sucker for blue cars. Especially in a box Chevy. That is just so beautiful. Look at that. Great job for this a cheap little die-cast. Yeah, these wheels aren't half bad either. They're actually, I think, maybe a little better than the flower petal wheels. Pretty decent glass, too. Not a lot of distortion in it. Got the steering wheels a little crooked. Getting a message from my pop. He's thanking me for sending him a birthday message. Yeah, I can kind of straighten it out a little bit with my little poker thing here. There we go. I don't want to go too far with it. Yeah, they're a little flimsy, the interior components. But not bad, right? Oh, yeah. That is very cool. All right, let's continue having a little fun with these inexpensive die-casts. I'm going to show you these little gas pump things I got. So these were part of two different gift sets I got. One was the gas pump by itself, and it came with some semi-trucks. The other gas pump came with that little mini garage I showed you in a prior video. Yes, this is, like I said, here's the depths of my depravity right here. I got 3 Fleetwood Bromes. Okay, yeah. Plus the 2 Tomica ones I have. So that's actually a total of 5. That shows you how sick I am, right? Okay, I'm going to shut this turntable off. I'm going to take these down here. I want to pull these little gas pump things up here. There we go. All right. So you saw this crazy Lincoln with the terrible graphics. And then this was that one I showed you that was the additional one. All right. So these were made by Road Champs back in the late 70s, early 80s. Okay. And it came in a gift pack. So the other gift pack I was trying to describe to you, it comes with the gas pumps plus a mini garage. And then there was 3 cars in that. There was the Yatming Trans Am, a Hot Flames Chevy truck step side, and also a Mercedes 450 SE. I'm going to show you at least 2 of those cars. Again, just real quick. That's why you hear my voice kind of going off in the distance. I'm going to the display real fast. Okay. The Chevy truck is in another display that's kind of buried right now. But these were accessible because they were right on top of the display. So that was the Trans Am that came with the 1 gift set. I've shown you that in a prior video. And then this was the Mercedes that came with the gift set as well. Showed you that in a prior video as well too. So like I said, we're just having fun with some cheap die-cast cars here. All right, so they got this little removable pump. You know, you put it in the back of your car, whatever you want. And then now one of these, the bell works, and one that doesn't. Let me see which one this is. Yeah, this is one that has the bell that actually works. So you see I'm cranking the handle, the bell goes ding, and then that little indicator for pumping the fuel goes around as well. This one here, it does not move. I guess that's because either it's broken or it's not meant to move. Only that one is moving. So there you go. That's one of them right there. You'll notice how yellowed it is from age. It's you know, it was in a blister pack for a long, long time, and that's probably why. And this is the other one. This one's actually even more yellowed, and this is the one where the bell doesn't work. See, it just makes kind of a click sound. Yeah. So it says like express lane on this side, and then happy motoring on the other one. Which, by the way, you should know that was Exxon's slogan back in those days. Happy motoring. Yeah. So there you go, my diecast fans. We're just having some fun with some cheapo diecast cars today, and hope you really enjoyed that. I had fun showing these off to you. I mean, I get a kick out of these El Cheapo ones, just because sometimes they make very interesting models. And this video also ran a little longer than usual. That's because, you know, I had a lot to show you anyways. So there you go, guys. In the meantime, just enjoy yourselves, and please take care of each other. God bless, and we'll see you in the next video.